and the Falls High Inc. during her time here at Falls High School. In the fall, Ellen will be attending Yale University to study anthropology. Ellen.
Hello everyone, I am so glad that you could all be here today for my live reenactment of all 3 High School Musical movies. Now, I was given a time recommendation of about 5 minutes, which I will be just slightly going over, closer to about 6 hours, although I promise to be mindful of all of you folks overheating, me included. I unfortunately did not have time to make costumes, although I'm sure you will all be able to use your imaginations as needed to color on the scenes. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy as I present High School Musical 1, 2, and 3. Oh. Okay, it looks like they do not have the music prepared at the moment. Don't worry. I will just have to stall for a little bit until they get everything figured out in the sound department. So how about this weather? Hot today. It's nice to be in the gym again. We are luckier than some other graduating classes. Don't get me wrong, the arena is a wonderful venue, for graduations, proms, weddings, but it's nice to be a little bit closer for today's ceremony. It's pretty easy to forget, given how refreshingly normal our senior year was, but our high school years were pretty atypical. We've had to deal with a lot of stressful and disheartening changes in and out of the classroom. We are part of a pretty small group of people who will have spent at least 1 year of high school during the pandemic. There are only about 6 grades who can say they were in 9th through 12th grade during COVID years, and not to brag, but we had a solid 3 years affected by it. It was definitely not what we were expecting when we envisioned being in Falls High, but regardless, there is nothing we can do now to change it. When we look back from high school reunions or talking to our future kids, our high school experience will be defined by this uncontrollable event. Can I be completely honest though? I am kind of thankful for the unfortunate and strange alterations to our years in high school. There were plenty of negatives, plenty of frustrations, but I also don't know if I would be my current self, or if any of you would be your current selves, if we didn't experience it. For me, distance hybrid learning forced me to consider what I truly value doing, and I found out that it wasn't sports. I stopped doing them, and then I had more time to pursue the things that I really loved, like knowledgeable and journalism, and as well as discover new interests and opportunities. For many of you, though, I'm sure it was the opposite. You learned how much you loved your sports, how important they are to you, as those pulled back seasons made you long for normal, closer practices and bus rides and games. You learn a lot when you simply can't do the same things the same way anymore. Just checking sound. No music? At all? Okay, keep going, I guess. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Okay, bear with me. I promise I'm not going to say it, but there's a specific phrase that starts with a Y and ends with an olo, and means something along the lines of you only live once. I'm sorry, it's cliche, but it's true. We've got a lot of life ahead of us, and we should spend it pursuing what we truly love, whatever that may be. The pandemic will not be the only time that our expected life plans get completely torn apart. My personal prediction is that in the near future, people will be drafted to start the first human colony on Mars. That if you want to finish up school or start a family, getting tossed to another planet could really screw that up. So my point here though, besides the fact that you should all start mentally preparing in case you end up forcibly living on Mars, is to look for the positives in all of the difficulties of life. Let's say, your number gets called or wherever the draft works, you get strapped into that rocket, and then of course, accelerate to escape velocity in order to overcome Earth's gravitational force. At that point, there's not much you can do except try to turn it into something good. I mean, hey, you get to explore the solar system, be on a different planet, in a different environment, and I'm sure you've learned how to react quickly in emergency situations. That's pretty dang neat. It's the same thing with the pandemic. There was hardship and loss, but we also learned flexibility and resilience and responsibility when it came to our social and educational lives, whether we wanted to or not. To bring this full circle, I was intending my time up here to be very different. I am undoubtedly a very talented actress, singer, dancer, but unfortunately I cannot perform a cappella. It is just not my skill set. And without my crucial background tracks, any high school musical reenactment would have been inadequate. Instead of wallowing in my wasted performance, though, I took this opportunity to give all of you unsolicited advice. And hopefully no one passed out while I was speaking. I think I'm close to. To close, a big thank you, of course, to everyone that has supported our class, the teachers and staff, our families, our friends. Most of all, a thank you to each other. I do think we could have done this ourselves, made it through high school, got the diplomas, but it would definitely have been a lot more boring. Because, as you would have learned at the end of my spectacular high school musical showcase, we're all in this together. Congratulations, class of 2023.